Podcast You Listen. Thanks for watching our episode about wrestling for the 10,000th time. So we are here to talk about WrestleMania in Las Vegas that just happened this past weekend. MC, were you able to watch all of WrestleMania?
Yes. You said you were not able to see it because your ESPN plan wasn't unlimited, right? You said
you have to unlock it. It says once you get an ESPN plan through the services that I have, which is through Disney Plus, Hulu, and all of them, you click on WrestleMania and it baits you in to think that you can see it. And once you click on it, it says, oh, by the way, you need to unlock it. And then that's where you got to get into more money, more paid services, and more.
What they want.
So I was listening to a WrestleMania pregame podcast, which had
So you weren't even able to see the free ones on ESPN too, were you?
Nope.
And ESPN, yeah.
Nope. So on the way back from Saturday, I was coming back from a track meet and I was listening to a WrestleMania podcast and had Tommy Dreamer on it. And they were talking about the attendance portion of WrestleMania.
Was it busted open?
Yes, busted open.
Yeah, that's crazy how big they've become, where you could catch them even on your radio.
On Sirius.
On Sirius, yeah.
So they were discussing that WrestleMania numbers are not as high as wrestling reports are. That they lie, just like everything else, to try to inflate it so it looks like a lot of people show up to these events. They were discussing how these events have become saturated in that it's becoming more and more that there's just constant WrestleMania special events, and that they feel like, from what I was getting from this podcast, that they just feel like my face looks really weird on CM Punk's. I look like I got stuck with something.
Well, the first one was really faded.
I look like I'm going. I'm ready to poop.
That is the picture I use, unfortunately.
So I was listening to this and I started thinking that has pro wrestling run its course? Do you feel like, and I'm going to get into something else. I know you want to discuss all the matches, but no one really gives a shit. I want to get your take on these events. Coming from an outsider who used to watch wrestling religiously, have not watched it as much as you and our favorite Ramrock, who still wrestles, and other fans.
Wish we could just call him right now and just trick him into answering. Would just be so good. Wait, what's going on, guys? I can't talk.
So, but I wonder,
what's your thoughts on WrestleMania?
If you tell us 10 things you liked about it,
real quick. Come on.
So, what do you feel like in the state of pro wrestling? Because WWE obviously is the NFL of wrestling.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? Do you feel like these WrestleManias have gotten bigger and better? Because they were discussing that too, that they feel like they don't have the same effect as the older WrestleManias used to have. That they don't feel like they draw the same amount of crowds. Like when they say they used to get 60 to 70,000 people at these events, that they feel like that's not really true anymore. Like,
well, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder when the tickets are freaking insane, which is part of the kind of became a little bit a part of the storyline they incorporated using the Cody Rhodes build up when they brought in Pat McAfee, and a lot of fans rebelled against that because it was just kind of a letdown surprise. They're like, Pat McAfee is the guy talking to Randy Orton.
They did say that ticket sales were very low.
Yeah.
Until Pat McAfee started talking about being on WrestleMania and showing up at the event. They sold 5,000 tickets in that one day that he mentioned.
Crazy. That is crazy. They started putting more on sale, like during, I think there was a 30% off one, 20% off one. Even Punk used it in a storyline where he was cross-referencing the other show, So on Raw, he was talking about what was going on SmackDown from 3 or 4 days earlier, and he just said lower the he was doing a punk pipe bomb, so to speak, and he's like lower the ticket prices, basically. So they know what's going on. Obviously, they're aware of that, but they want the money. I mean, that's why they're going to Saudi for WrestleMania next year. It's all about the dollar to what
And they
TKO,
they
who owns
also
them.
mentioned that Vegas got WrestleMania pretty quick. They're not like the NFL where they don't return back to a town so quickly to have a main event.
Yeah,
Vegas outbid other, because I guess originally it was supposed to
wasn't
be
even an outbid though. Yeah, they originally were supposed to be in New Orleans, and basically, yeah, they put in another bid like, "Hey, we want this business again. How much would it take for you guys to come back here next year?" And essentially, what they did, and I don't know if it was a verbal agreement where they kind of came up with another event plus a future Mania to tell New Orleans, "Hey, we'll be back." But whatever it was, they canceled their plans for the New Orleans WrestleMania, and then they essentially basically went back to Vegas, and that's been speculated as part of the kind of fatigue of because people come from all over, and if they did their vacation slash WrestleMania, well, now you're in the same spot. So are people going to do that again? Or would they have been more prone to go to New Orleans since it's a fresh new site, a new WrestleMania, location, everything. So yeah, that's been speculated like that, fatiguing the town, so to speak. You don't want to keep coming back to the same town. Now, Vegas obviously was instrumental in getting them to come back, which is they threw a lot of money at them, obviously.
Well,
And
and they
that's
also said that Vegas has now become one of the most expensive cities to go to,
yeah, you
which is completely
can't
opposite of what it used to be. It
well,
used
yeah,
to be cheap.
you've gone to Vegas a lot more times than I had. When I was in Arizona, I went there 2 or 3 times. And yeah, and my cousin would talk about it. He would go a lot too. He said, yeah, you could get a fairly decent room, and you can and they used to have a bunch of buffets. The payouts used to be better. Now I know they're regulated better than the tribes regulate their casino in the Arizona area, but still, you could go to the casinos. You used to be able to get super cheap buffets. That's what they were known for. So even if you're getting your ass handed to you on the slots or whatever the hell you're playing, table games, you could always get cheap food too. But that's not the case anymore, as you all know. You've been to Vegas a lot more recent than I have. That's not even the case anymore, from what I hear.
You used to be able to get a hotel room for like 20 some bucks.
Yeah,
Now
that
it's
too.
like
Yeah,
the minimum's like $70 for a night. And this is at a crappy hotel on the
yeah,
strip. You could
yeah.
stay somewhere off the strip, but on the strip. But the problem with on the strip is it's expensive to eat. It's expensive to stay down there. It's super crowded. They put in a lot more bridges and walkways, so you can't just and now the Ubers are regulated. Everything's regulated, so it's not cheap anymore to get rides. You got to ride
What's
trains.
what's the regulation on Uber?
So they made them so they're like taxis, like they have to pay taxes, and so
Oh,
it's
he
not
must
cheap anymore.
he must be an American born driver to be a Uber.
You must be able to read the street signs. So the
He's got to
problem with
take.
this,
I'm instituting a rule. He must be able to take a test. Shows he can knows what red, yellow, and green are.
well, here's a good example. So I was down there. I was staying at the Luxor, and I did a spot on the Stratosphere, which is at the other end of the strip by Old Circus. So I went to a show there to do a show, and I didn't want to walk because it's far. It's like it would be like an hour walk, and I didn't
Hmm.
want to take the tram because the tram takes you all the way around, and it can be crappy sometimes. It's kind of like it's not like it's policed, so it could just be crazy
You
people in
just
there.
get attacked on the tram.
It's I've ridden it at 2 a.m, so it's just you just gotta put your hat down and sit like this look creepy. So
Yeah, Raymond.
so but
It's
I
just
said
like, damn it. I don't want him to draft a quarterback, damn it.
so I I don't. So I take an Uber, and the Uber it's $40, to get
Ooh.
there and back. So
That would do how many miles was that? Would you say?
it was like 4 miles.
4 miles. You would have took you an hour to walk 4 miles.
Yeah, 15 minutes a mile. That's about right.
He's gonna
I gotta
jog.
walk through people. What about run? I'm gonna jog.
It's pummeling people as it goes through.
Yeah, well, it took me forever. So
tried it once, never again.
yeah.
4 hours to walk.
Then I
4
gotta
miles.
walk back. I gotta walk back, but it took forever.
You want to
So,
make big steps as a giant man.
I just jogged through town.
That's Obafemi strut through town, just plowing people.
Pardon me. Get that card out of my face. No naked women. So
stop throwing stripper flyers at me.
so I started thinking, and even in Phoenix, I took an Uber to go approximately a mile and a half to go to a cigar bar, and it was $25 to go there one way. So it's getting expensive because everything costs and they're regulating it. It's not like it used to be, right? So I don't understand, but then I do understand because they have a major airport that you can fly into Las Vegas. You can get in there. It's probably not as expensive to fly there from other parts of the states to go straight to Las Vegas, or you can fly into Phoenix and drive 3 hours to Las Vegas to 4 hours. So it's really not that bad. Plus, you're off of California, huge population. Nevada probably has a huge population of wrestling fans, Arizona. So you got lots of people in that area.
As
So,
just to go back to Uber real quick, or I forget this point. As a briefly employed contracted Uber driver, I always wondered like what happened if someone would have threw up, extreme like Seinfeld like BO. Like how can you write that off? Like they want taxes and regulations from you now. Like who the hell's gonna pay for it if some guy just fucking Ralph's all over the fucking backseat of your car? I was
I
like,
don't know.
I was always wondering that. I'm like, obviously you would. So
The
like,
price you pay. You write it off, clean and splice. So
yeah, you'd have to, I guess, right?
So I watched some of the wrestling highlights. My next question to
Did
you.
you see Cody Rhodes' eye? I think I sent that
Hold on,
picture to
hold
you,
on,
right?
hold
Okay.
on. We're not there yet. We're still discussing the beginning of
We're gonna
wrestling.
have a
So you did not.
podcast you listen night 1, night 2.
So you
episode
didn't.
1,
So
episode
you didn't
2.
talk. You didn't really mention if you thought it was going through the states. If you thought wrestling was just as big as it was back in the day, let's say the '90s. Do you think WrestleMania has lost its flair,
I mean,
or do you?
everybody has their golden era. So most people from nowadays, as our generation, starts to die off, apparently, says attitude era. Mine is the '80s era, the Hulk Hogan, the late '80s, the mid to late '80s, the first WrestleMania, all that type of stuff. You remember that as obviously as well when we were kids watching this stuff. So there a lot of that is kind of like you kind of have nostalgia for that era. But like most people are gonna say, the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, the all that type of was kind of their golden age.
Mhm.
If you're comparing it to that, it's just they're in a transition now where a lot of these stars, as we'll talk about with the Brock Lesnar, teased retirement. I don't know if it's been even officially stated. That's why I say teased. Him going away with John Cena and AJ Styles retiring officially. And them having Gunther, a lot of the guys like Punk. Obviously, the storyline was that he got fatigued in it. So with all these guys, and Roman Reigns not going to be around forever either. So with all these guys, they got to make these new stars. So obviously there was an emphasis on a new kind of crop coming through at this WrestleMania. So they're gonna have to replace those guys, and the argument would be like you aren't making these stars as fast as these other ones are leaving now. So they're gonna have to hope that they catch lightning in a bottle, and they may have with Obafemi, Trick Williams, the Javon Evans, and such who have wrestled on this, specifically night 2.
As you as a wrestling fan though from the '80s, do you feel the same type of interest that you would as a younger wrestling fan, or do you feel like you're just more interested in the stories?
Yeah, obviously, oily, half naked men rolling around on a mat is not appealing to me. Being a comic book fan, I want a story. So, like for me,
Oh,
yes. Can you
sorry.
hear me? No.
Yeah, I was checking my microphone. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So for me, it's got to be stories. Obviously that's
Well,
appealing to grandmothers and young ladies, whatever. But like for me,
So you weren't telling me when you were younger you liked watching oily men roll around
No,
on
it's
the. You
it's
still like the stories, right?
it's
But
the
it
same thing
seems
as the comics. It's the same thing as now. You see Superman, Batman. I mean, the giant. So you want to you have that superhero aspect. So as a kid, like obviously they're like real life superheroes, but like now, for me now, it's like obviously I like the storylines for both. Specifically, I enjoy the it's just because it's different and I didn't have that as much growing up. I like the ladies wrestling, obviously for obvious reasons too, but like I just want to see a good balance from that. So I actually enjoy when they can split the cards up where it's ladies wrestling and men's wrestling matches. I feel like the ladies stuff is actually more interesting storyline anyways, because like how many times have we seen all these storylines with the guys anyways? But it's going to be different for everyone, but like for me it's just like I don't know if it'll ever be the same like that because I was gimmick heavy, very superhero-esque. I was a kid for one. But if you can give
well.
me some good stories, it doesn't
This
matter
is
when this is. I mean, I'm still going to tune in, but I don't think it'll ever be as interesting. I don't know if it's possible to catch that type of thing they had in the late 90s with the Attitude Era or the mid to late 80s with the kind of the golden age of wrestling when it rock and wrestling, all that stuff. I don't know if they can really catch that again. A lot of people are in on the work of it. You're going to have a lot of fans. It's just I don't know if you're going to I don't know, you'd have to have a huge star come along that kind of transcends a lot of things, and right now I'm not sure if we are seeing that. You got to have someone with just unbelievable charisma.
that was the longest winded answer ever. But anyways, that leads to my next question. Do you feel like the entrances of WrestleMania are a little overdone?
Yeah, I mean it's WrestleMania.
Nope. That wasn't the question. Do you feel like the entrances are overdone? I think they're. I'll give you the
it's
one.
not
I'll give you the.
overdone if it's good, but some of them
Nah,
are.
I give you the one I watched.
Which one did you watch?
Liv
That's
Morgan's dancing episode of her singing, and it's like, come on! It looked like it was a cheer halftime show.
no, like now, like to probably what you're getting at here. There was a thing that broke down the time the entrances were, the ads, and the wrestling was very small in comparison, at least in night one for sure. I don't know. I don't know what the breakdown of night two was. So yeah, I mean, there's an argument
It
that
was
could be said
very
that
theatrical. Cody
yeah,
Rhodes' entrance. What was that? Was it an homage to his past characters and his outfits?
yeah,
And then
like the
they
back
bring him,
cave, yeah,
yeah, and then they bring him out, and it's just so over the top. And it's just like it. And then Randy Orton just comes out, and it's like, yeah,
he has the snake graphic for like 5 seconds before.
yeah, that's it. So it's like, it's just, it makes me, and then a lot of
Thought you said you didn't
costumes.
see it. Thought you said you didn't see it.
I
Thought you
did.
said you didn't see it.
Lots of the costumes. The costumes were a little
Well,
over the
yeah,
top.
yeah, but it's part of WrestleMania. Like they're spending money on their outfits. This is WrestleMania. It's their time to show out, so to speak. So yeah,
Flair
eh,
looked like a butterfly.
yeah. Alexa
Why?
Alexa Bliss, I think, was paying homage to Bray Wyatt, who died. So that was like her Firefly thing.
Uh-huh.
And I just think on the flip side, Charlotte was her partner for this WrestleMania, so she kind of did the kind of antithesis of that.
So do you feel like these are more over the top, this one, than other
Yeah,
ones?
I mean, yeah, if you're asking me, is this probably the most it ever has been? I would say, yeah. I would say, yeah. I think most everyone had a type of entrance except in the multi-man or woman matches because obviously for time purposes. But yeah, I mean, it's WrestleMania. I mean, they're putting the pomp and circumstance like they have. They just kind of upped it maybe to another level for maybe more people than they ever had, maybe, but that stuff don't bother me. What bothers me more is the length of the matches. And night one specifically, some of them just felt way too short for WrestleMania blow off to a storyline or anything. Like that man. And again, now we had Liv Morgan, for example, to take her. She was whacked in the head for real. You could see the bruising in her eyes and the forehead. So she got whacked about 2 weeks before WrestleMania, a little less than 2 weeks. So maybe they didn't give her a longer match because of that. think maybe she was recovering from I don't know if she was concussed officially and had to get clearance, or they just because she was bruised so bad. So that could have been part of it. And some of the other areas where other people were recovering, like Seth Rollins, although he had I thought a decent match with Gunther. But
All right, let's get into the matches.
yeah.
You're just chomping at the bit. Let's go night one.
Yeah.
Night one, we had the main event. We'll go to that at the end here. We had the main event with Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But we had Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch against AJ Lee. No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Liv Morgan against Stephanie McCool.
Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch.
No, it wasn't a tag match.
It wasn't?
No, Becky faced AJ Lee and Stephanie McCool faced Liv Morgan for the world title.
Oh, okay. I'm reading this wrong now.
Yeah.
So Liv Morgan's the one that had the horrible entrance. That was like watching a Britney Spears episode of some kind of video.
Becky Lynch so many times too.
Becky Lynch did her entrance with a live band, which I thought that song sucked too. They made a big deal about it.
I think they were lip syncing too, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. It just sounded horrible.
That's what somebody else said. That's their theme song. They probably were. They created it for her, so they may have been. Who knows?
So was that the first match of the night?
First match was the two on for free on ESPN, supposedly on ESPN2. Yep. That would have been that 6-man match with the Usos and LA Knight versus the YouTuber IShowSpeed, the former YouTuber or current YouTuber / wrestler Logan Paul and Austin Theory. They were the tag champs. That was a forgettable match. It was a match to set up Speed diving off the ring post through Logan Paul on the outside.
So it says the analyst says that nothing too crazy or earth-shattering from this match.
I said to someone,
well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I said to someone during the event, I said, if you're trying to convince people to pay a lot, like whatever, $30 order, like the ESPN Unlimited based off this match, that's probably not a match they probably should have started it with. I mean, it just, yeah. WrestleMania wise, that's a, as a friend says, that was like a Monday Night Raw.
They said the main attraction of this was a frog splash from Speed off the top, like standing on the turnbuckle, I guess the post.
There's a backlash on people not wanting these celebrities in there, like Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still on this one.
I'm just throwing that out there. That there's some people that just don't want to see these guys in there.
That match was 7 minutes. What would you give it?
7 minutes.
What would be the grade of the 7 minutes? Seems like just such a short period of time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a Monday Night Raw match.
So what do you give this grade of a match?
What do you give me? Like
A or B, C or D?
D.
You give it a D?
Yeah. It was nothing. It was just enough. I mean, what do you want to give me? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
No, that's good. Where I'm getting this information from, Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Sports gave it a B, so they must be pretty lenient. All right, the next one was.
I mean, I like some of those guys, but no way, dude. Like, that match ain't a B.
So the second one was the Drew McIntyre one. Was that the free one?
Him and Jacob Fatu in an unsanctioned match.
That match was 14 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yeah, that felt about that. I mean, they tried. I just don't think the chemistry was there. They did some cool things in it. That's a C for me.
Nothing brought it out.
No, they did some cool moves. The chemistry between the two of them in the storyline, I think, was just, I don't know. I like Jacob Fatu too, and I like Drew too. I just feel like they just don't have I just feel like they had the chemistry. I mean, that ended the rivalry, thanks goodness. So when Drew goes off to do his movie or whatever, comes back, he shouldn't be feuding with Jacob Fatu anymore.
Do you think that Drew McIntyre, you think this is his run? You think this is his end of of wrestling?
He's doing a lot more acting, but I don't think he's done. I think there's been fatigue with people of too much Drew McIntyre to the fact that he'll probably be good for him to go away for a little bit and come back and just be refreshed.
Do you feel that Samoa's in wrestling is getting overplayed?
I mean, it's just how they're portrayed. I mean, there's a lot of them in WWE right now, and there's an argument that people want to see the bloodline back together with Roman Reigns, which when we get to that match, if we have time for it, essentially that didn't happen like a lot of people thought it would, including myself. They just had Punk versus Roman with no interference in that main event of night 2.
All right. The
So,
next one was a women's wrestling match. Paige and Bria Bella against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
The champs, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend.
Were you
And
expecting
Bailey and Lyra Valkyria was the last team.
Were you expecting Paige to show back up?
Yeah, that leaked. If it didn't leak, that would have been an even bigger surprise. But the crowd popped really good for her, and it was good to see her back. She looked good, and I was happy with that. I think that was match of the night. I think just for that.
That what one was?
Just for that surprise. That I know you might have the time in front. That wasn't a long match, right? That was
8 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah, see, not even 10 minutes. I was gonna give them 10 minutes even
for a six person match.
Too short, but again, Nikki got hurt. That's why Paige slid into her spot. Otherwise, the Bellas probably would have won, like both of the Bellas.
Question with that: when Nikki came out and did the introduction to bringing in Paige, did she not appear to be intoxicated?
thought you said you didn't watch this though.
When you talk, she slurred her words.
Gotcha, motherfucker. Yeah. I watched everything. I paid the $30.
It was $30. Anyways,
no, I got the. Thank goodness DraftKings did that code. I just had to do a $10 bet and I got it. I obviously lost the bet, but it was their house money anyway. So I got.
And the Irresistible Forces was paying respects to the Demolition
with their white kind of version of Demolition. Yeah.
Yep.
It was good, and then Paige return was cool. It just was short. Yeah, you said 8 minutes. Like they didn't give them even 10 minutes. So again, I mean,
so far we're like in 30 minutes of this, and we've gone through 3 matches.
It was very quick. So I mean,
it would be interesting to research when we do the second part of this podcast to see how long the entrances were.
I knew we were gonna have
the entrances were probably like 14 minutes long.
No, if while we're probably downloading the first before the other one, I'll send you that, and you can maybe pull it up in there. It's just a chart that shows you there were way more entrance times and ads more than the wrestling, and yeah, that's sad. That is sad. I mean, in a way, because it's Wrestlemania.
Well, next one is Gunther and Seth Rollins. That match was 15 minutes and 48 seconds.
That felt like it was probably about 15 minutes. Yeah, Braun Breaker, the Steiner's son, returned. He was out with a hernia, and he was trying to come back, and apparently he was cleared in time, but they didn't know for sure, or they didn't know how that would, so they set up, and that probably made sense because they set up with Gunther. He had a big win where now he could be propelled from that, and now you have, because basically Steiner or Braun Breaker cost Seth the match. Now they can resume their feud, basically.
Would you agree with that? They are the two best in the world right now of wrestling?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Of
two of the best, yeah, two of the best, sure. No, I mean, I'd say you have to. Man, I'm not biased because I knew him at one point in time, but like that match with Punk and Reigns was really good. The only thing I didn't like was as we get to it, maybe in the next episode, the only thing I just felt was a little weird was the ending.
All right,
so that was the best match.
That was the best match
of both
Gunther and Seth Rollins.
Oh, of that night, yeah, it was really good. For me personally, I think I just enjoyed Paige's return, so I would have probably gave it to that match. But yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean that unbiased aside, that probably was the best match of the night, Gunther and Seth Rollins.
All right, Liv Morgan versus Stephanie. Is it Vaquer?
Vaquer, I think.
Vaquer.
Yeah, from Chile.
That was for the Women's World's Championship. They gave it a C. It must have been a horrible match.
It was just too short. I'd give
6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, 6 minutes for a women's title match. It's B, or at worst B minus because of the time. The match was good for what it was. It was just way too short. 6 minutes for a women's title match. It's because of her. It's because she was either concussed or hit her head. It had to be. There's no way you would have given that. I didn't even know it was that short because they had the interference come in. Once you have the interference, that takes up whatever 2 minutes to the finish of the match. So yeah, what did they wrestle on their own for 4 minutes then?
Yep. Says the
Sad
fact
fuck.
is that this match was over in less than 7 minutes and
Yeah.
legitimately stunning and does not favor for anyone involved.
It had to be the head injury she had because Vakur hit Liv right into her like stablemate Roxanne Perez on Raw. Like I said, was that 13 days before, or no, not even 12 days. So they hit each other and they both had huge knots on their head because they were positioned too close. So when Vakur came out of the screen, hit the other two they legit bumped heads, and then they had knots on their head, so they had to be cleared from concussion protocol. And I think they did this, gave her the longer entrance probably to make up for it, but obviously the match was very short.
All right. Speaking of getting concussed, the match of the evening. Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes goes. This match was 22 minutes and 40
Too
seconds.
Long.
Yeah. And it brought in Jelly Roll. Give me a break already, all right? Jelly Roll, seriously?
They had to take out Pat McAfee. That was their plan. They had Jelly Roll elbow him through the table. That took up probably 5 to 7 minutes of the first part of the match. Meanwhile, you got Orton stretch in the background. Supposedly, now the announcers kept saying that, and I probably think it's legit because of the way he was moving. Apparently, not supposedly, Orton had a back injury, like a legit injury. So that probably explains why the match was plodding at times. He looks like he kind of went into a full gear at the end, but by then the match was already like if he was hurt even more maybe than Liv or some of the other ones banged up. I heard Stephanie was banged up too. That's probably why that match was shorter. Then yeah, they had the theatrics with McAfee and Jelly Roll taking time, but like,
how do you feel about Jelly Roll being in this main event? Do you think it's just a publicity, just trying to draw more attention? I mean, Jelly Roll is really not anybody that I would. I mean, I know he was on the Unreal episode where they showed him learning how to wrestle and how he lost weight. So
he's got an action figure or two coming out for Pete's sake. Like I think they have like a regular one. They have an LJN style. Like some of these people who've been around forever, when they're re-releasing these new LJN versions of the ones we had as kids, he's getting one before anybody else. So all he had was a cup of coffee up until that point before they decided to give him. So see, obviously they think there's money in marketing to make him a figure, but the people who are buying these things, they didn't give a fuck about Jelly Roll LJN and like fucking. Yeah, I think it's good. Limited. They had what? Lil Yachty. I'm not really. I heard his name, but I'm not as familiar with him. He was the sidekick all weekend or for the last few weeks for Trick Williams on night 2 when we get to that. And I'm like, yeah, some people know, obviously he's got a fan base, but like for a wrestling fan who really is not as familiar with these music artists, nobody wants to fucking see these guys in there. Obviously they want the crossover appeal, but I could give really crap. I mean, yeah, was it funny to see Jelly Roll elbow him through Pat McAfee through a table? But do we need that?
Yes, really you do. You need to bring
you
need the Mike Tysons and
yeah, he's not Mike Tyson.
You need the. That's what I said. He's not even athletic. It's like now
he just lost a bunch of weight.
They've gone down to the gimmicks of like bringing out Trump and bringing out all these guys to just highlight the evening, just to draw attention. But the problem is they got the wrong celebrities. Jelly Roll is not the person you want displaying some kind of athleticism on an event that requires athletes.
They have to.
I think it cheapens the brand. It cheapens the ability. It cheapens the athleticism of the wrestlers when you bring out a guy named Jelly Roll who was 500 and some pounds. He lost weight because he decided to move, and then they're like
slamming people,
and then he's
the Undertaker.
Not even to mention the Kill Tony, where they brought Undertaker out to talk about his podcast, and then he choke slams Tony through the table, and it's just like
what they did over the weekend. weekend? Is that what they
Yeah,
did? Oh my
yeah. And
goodness.
so you're just, I almost agree, and we're going to get into this in the second part of this. I
Yeah.
agree with Paul Heyman's comment during that Unreal episode of Netflix saying, forgive me, but I don't like this show.
Yeah.
I think this show basically breaks all rules of wrestling. And I think if you're going to bring anybody out to do a spot during a main event like this, you got to bring someone either A, who's athletic, who you can actually picture doing these things.
Carl Malone, believe it or not, in the WCW days, Carl Malone did more than Rodman. He actually, I mean, obviously, I like Rodman
and
more.
Going through that too.
Yeah,
We'll go through that too.
Yeah.
I saw that on the Hall of Fame crap. So, anyways,
speaking of stoned.
So thanks for watching. We're gonna go. This is gonna cut, and we're just gonna make this all one part 2 of the second night. But we'll continue our conversation about what happened to Cody Rhodes and what happened to his face right after this brief commercial of Snickers, the sponsor of WWE WrestleMania.
No matter where you are, with some wrestlers, it's just like being in a wrestling ring. With Hulk Hogan and Rowdy Piper.
1, 2, 3, pin!
Wherever you are, it's like real wrestling action. With Junkyard Dog and Bulldog. Come wrestle anywhere with Hulk in the Iron Sheik.
Okay, kids, back to class.
Wrestle anywhere with wrestling superstars, some wrestlers, new from LJN.
But anyways, back to WrestleMania 2. All right.
So where we kind of left off,
we're back on Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton.
Did we give grades past the first one? Because what did I do? We did so we did on the first one out of A through D. We gave D for the 6-man.
You gave the Gunther and Seth Rollins a B. And then Liv Morgan
And Stephanie.
They said that was
too short. C.
They gave that a C.
Yeah, too short. C. The tag match, because of Paige's return, I'd give a B. Gunther and Seth a B. And then the Drew and Jacob probably C, just because it's just the chemistry wasn't there. But
so night 1 was not very good. But let's go to this final match.
The matches were like you. I think I texted you a thing. Look at that image and
hold on. We're gonna get into that.
See how short that the matches were compared to the stuff.
So the Randy you said was way too long
in comparison to the other ones being short. And then if Randy Orton really was hurt, that I didn't really that match just went on too long. And then Randy's hurt, like he did look legit hurt, and because if you're faking that to sell something, it doesn't make any sense. The match wasn't as exciting as it should have been.
So do you feel that the kick to the face,
and that was because he kicked him for real?
Yeah. Do you feel that was a work, or do you think that was an accident?
Oh, you mean like they were trying to make you think it was a thing, and then they decided to do it for real? Nah, I don't think that. That was probably an accident. Obviously, you don't want to kick somebody like that in his eye. C probably for that match.
I wonder if that was on purpose though, to draw attention for future matches.
So you think that Cody would say, "Randy, kick me in the eye for real," to sell this rivalry moving forward?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think he was expecting that shin to the side of the face like that, but I really do think that the kick was it was kind of like a stiff, we're looking
like a stiff shot, basically,
on purpose,
like a Mick Foley punch me for real type of deal.
And I think that is because they're trying to build, even though people are saying they're kind of tired of this because they feel like it's run its course. I think that it was a way for people to go, look at that shit. That guy took a real shot to the face. And I think they're trying to.
Before we recorded, I was watching the YouTube version of Busted Open. And one of the the host that was on it. I think it was Bully, Tommy Dreamer, I think may have been the one that said it too, that it was very convoluted. And that's probably the best way to describe what should have been mentor versus, student. Like they kind of convoluted it with the Pat McAfee. I know you said that drew some people to want to tickets to go see it, but like the whole thing was very convoluted, including the end. Like the ref gets bumped, and you got fucking Pat McAfee, who was stretchered out earlier because the Jelly Roll comes back with a neck brace to become a referee. Doesn't count the 3, so out of nowhere, Randy Orton gives him the RKO, but it's not really shown Randy's facials that he was upset with him for it. He just kind of gave it to him, and it was just
it was pretty weak looking too.
it was just the whole thing was executed until the end, where he actually kicks him for real. After the,
I think that was honestly, I think that was like I don't think the outcome was on purpose. Like I don't think like you said, I don't think you really want to kick him in the eye.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're gonna say, "Hey, dude, just blast me, and we'll see where this takes us,"
maybe because it sucked.
It took it to another level because his eye looked glued shut, and you're like, dude, that was stiff. Like he took it.
He might have said,
how else?
"Do it snug to make it look real." And maybe,
and unfortunately, it was pretty real because it looked. But again, there's no way you watch that move. There's no way. I look at Cody Rhodes and I sit there and I think to myself, this kid, Cody Rhodes, am I saying his name wrong?
No, it's right.
If I'm
So,
thinking this,
he's a kid.
I'm thinking this kid wants to. He wants to rebirth wrestling, right?
Yeah.
He wants to bring it back to when his family was involved. He wants to bring it back. He wants to bring it back and make people just believe it again. That's why I got to the first part. And I think when I see that, I see a kid. Gotta make sure my mic's not too loud. I could see a kid who would do something like that to sell the story, right? To sell the story.
He would be one that would do that. So yeah, to for your point, yeah, if anyone would say, "Hey, let's make this," yeah, I mean, he would
look at the wrestling histories of main events that you've seen, and most of the time, the ones that take it to another level, where people really get hurt, like it's serious, are the ones that you still remember. No one's ever going to forget, even though they said it wasn't as bad as it looks, Mick Foley getting thrown off the top of the cage. No one's ever going to never forget Shane McMahon falling off with the weakest ass kendo stick to the back, and then he just like falls 30 feet to the bottom. But no one's going to ever forget that.
From like Steve Blackman.
Yeah, it was like a they're like full on blasting each other. Then he gets there, he's like, oh, and then just falls like a Pastor Andy chair shot.
I don't want to fall hitting you, so I'll just
at this tip, this
Pastor Andy.
So those are the ones where I'm like, this is a memorable moment, right? This is a memorable moment.
Yeah, and it happened after the match where in theory, probably Cody would have told, unless this comes out on Unreal and they were still there, but I'm pretty sure he would have told Brandy to take their daughter, who at the beginning of the match he hugs and stuff, to take them to the back, because she would have already seen her daddy win, celebrate, whatever. And then because this was all post-match, he hits him with the belt. So I'm pretty sure his wife would have taken her young daughter away. And then the post-match shenanigans, so to speak, happen where his daughter's probably back there. I have a hard time believing that like you were just saying, that was probably the desired outcome, like they were trying to do, but they probably said, "Hey, we got to make this our story has been kind of shit up to this point, or the execution of all this. Let's do something to make people talk." And yeah, you might be right. I mean, it's certainly possible. If anyone would do that, probably Cody would do that. Maybe a CM Punk. Those old school kind of, hey, this has got to look real fuck this shit, you know, and kayfabe, you know, and let's make this shit real. Yeah, he would be one of them.
All right.
That's a tough bump to take, though, man. His fucking eye was like, if you show it, I don't know.
You'll heal.
Yeah,
You'll heal, right? You'll heal.
Show it.
Wasn't like he
Showed in post.
broke his arm.
It's like it's a nasty looking.
It looks bad, but again, boxers get smacked around all the time and they recover. So
kick me in the eye for real.
Now I can't see out of this side of my face. It reminded me of the match I was with you, and that dude slapped me in the face really hard, but he like hit me with the palm right across my eye, and then I couldn't see out of this side of my eye for the like half the match.
Not our friend who's in jail, is it?
Yeah, the guy
ex-friend.
Not a friend, but
not our friend.
Not a friend.
We had nothing to do with this guy anyway. You know.
So night 2.
He's been erased from history.
Night 2. Night 2.
Only those who know will know and get that.
Night 2. Let's get into.
So Cody Orton was a C.
So the night 1 was a horrible night.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good night at all.
What's the average grade? I probably gave it a C. And it's 7 matches.
Probably gave it like a C, high C.
Yeah, 2 Bs, a D.
So the second night was the night that if you were going to pay, this would be the night to watch if you were going to pay for this event.
Yes.
So let me know if I'm going in order of the first match. The first match is.
I feel like we forgot a match. Did we?
That night?
Because we had the two women's, right? The tag and the thing. We had Drew and the 6-man. We had Cody. That's 5. And then there was 6, 7. What were the other 2 matches? Gunther. That's 6.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Gunther and Seth.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So that was one of the B's. So what's the 7th match? There were 7 on night 1.
There was?
Yeah.
Now you're going to make me look it up.
Yeah, look it up because we're missing one.
Because that's not what showed up.
2 B's, 2 C's, and a D, and then there's got to be one more grade. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm thinking of that. So I'm trying to think. So you had the free ones, and then you started back off. Women's title. Yeah, Becky and AJ Lee. We didn't talk about that one.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
That was kind of short. Well, how long? Yeah.
So that one was short too.
That was short. Maybe that's a B. So yeah, you're right. Maybe low B, high C.
So
just way too short. Those matches were all those were way too short.
All right. So second night, the results. Lesnar. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah, that's what has people talking. And the rumor is this could be legit, or they could revisit the story. And the only reason now I'm thinking that maybe they could keep this here and revisit it later is the Vince McMahon thing, because there's more emails and info that came out that Brock was more involved than originally thought. So all this shit is being leaked by Janelle Grant, the girl suing Vince McMahon. All the shit was Lesnar was more involved, because initially it was just like Vince had an exchange with Lesnar and then Lesnar laughs it off. Crazy old man. But now all this stuff is like he would have met with her if she would have done it. And if that's the case, you probably have to write him on a storylines. And if it was not intended and they wanted to retire him at SummerSlam, maybe because of the shit, that's what they're thinking, that this is the reason why Obafemi beat him in quick fashion, and they did that retirement thing where he takes off his gloves, takes off his boots, and the crowd was giving him a great ovation at least, and he is Brock as the wrestler, and he a lot of us who's followed his career,
do you think that this was a do you think, I mean, he looked pretty genuine. Do you think that he's just a good actor now? Because I don't think I've ever seen him show this side of his emotion. He looked a little more sincere. Are we recording this? We're I didn't show any side of I
didn't hear it either.
Any side of his sincereness that he looked more sincere instead of just looking like typical Brock Lesnar. So
maybe he convinced them. Yeah, maybe he convinced himself. Yeah, fuck it. Even if all this shit does go away, maybe they fucking retiring in Minnesota. He's over it. He doesn't need the money. obviously. So
You
I
think
mean,
he's
it's
made enough
probably
off
nice.
UFC and wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, easily. His wrestling contracts alone were millions. So billions, millions for sure.
Maybe he'll come back as a special guest like
There,
Undertaker does now.
there's a storyline in place that Heyman owes Gunther a favor, and that's what was going to be like presented. Like Gunther would tell him, "I want Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam." So maybe if some of the shit dies down, I mean, there's no question that if someone's suing the WWE and they want to probably get a settlement, they're going to take a guy who's on their television program and they're going to drop all their shit to try to say, hey, fuckers, pay us. We're going to drop all this bad publicity on you. So there's no doubt the timing of the release of this stuff, and I'm not saying who's innocent or who isn't. I mean, I like Brock. I've been a fan of his for a while, so I don't know what to believe with all the shit. I'm not a jury either. But there's a strategy in them doing that. The suing party definitely wants to make WWE settle to get this stuff to go away. But like when you start releasing all this stuff, obviously, this is probably the result of that, more than likely. I mean, it's so cool that he retires at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool if he's going to retire this year, anyways. But I think the plan was supposedly, unless it was leaked to fool you, and then they did this, which is, going by what we were talking about earlier, they do a lot of that stuff like red herrings. They could have leaked that to make it believe that they were going to do that in SummerSlam, and maybe this was Brock's plan all along. So who knows?
So what is this news where it says they're chanting at the show loud fuck TKO? What's TKO?
That's the ownership group of WWE.
Got it.
So that's who owns them.
Oh.
So this match obviously very short, but it was a beefy match that didn't have to be long either, and it ended with the right result because you have to build a new star. And I kind of feel like Oba has went on record saying Undertaker was his favorite wrestler. I kind of feel like at the end, the way it was sold both by Brock and Oba, I kind of felt like there was a little redemption in that, and I guess you would really have to know that to feel that, but I kind of felt like, hey, this was for the Undertaker type of deal, and him retiring him kind of does a little bit of that too. And yeah, it was good. I think as we go through these matches, the entire night too was excellent. I thought for what you were delivering on what you were, basically showcasing what you could potentially deliver, hands across the board. I felt
what
night
would you
night
give
too.
this match? What grade?
I can't give it an A because I don't think it was as long, but I think definitely a high B for sure. It was good. They did their job. I mean, I could give it an A minus, but I mean, it was definitely it did its job. Oba, who was already over, had to get the win. So
The next match we're talking about is the ladder match, Intercontinental
that,
Championship.
that was actually surprising. It was even better than I thought it would be because you had a lot of guys who weren't getting a whole lot of featured TV time, along with the guy who was Penta. They brought back Rey Mysterio, and this was a really good match.
How old is Rey Mysterio now? Like what, 40s?
Yeah, he has to be. He has to be our age, probably. Real close to it.
So this one, you just felt it was a good match, just a typical lucha match.
It's a spot fest with ladders, so they're doing a bunch of shit and crazy stuff, like but it looked good. It was a good spectacle.
What did you think of Penta's get up on his entrance?
Yeah, that mask, that samurai looking.
I think it was a little.
The only thing that was weird is all three masks. I said this to friends when I was doing. All three mask wrestlers are wearing red masks or outfits. I'm like, can't you fucking confer with the other mask wrestlers and say, hey, I'm gonna wear blue, you're wearing red. Have this other guy wear green. Like, why are you all wearing red? You're the only three masked wrestlers in the match, and you're all wearing red.
Yeah,
it was just weird for a masked wrestler.
It seemed odd that everybody, it looked like a tag team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a 6-man match. Like, high B for sure with this. I mean, just because, I mean, I like the other guys that are okay in the match, but it was the whole night. On the flip side, the good thing is all the matches delivered. On the flip side, it was very predictable. Every person I asked for their match predictions predicted it across the board. So everything it was just a predictable. Like
You
they could have done
you knew
something.
Penta was going to win.
You knew Penta was going to win. Nobody didn't pick Penta. Now, if they threw somebody else to win, it was the timing of it. Penta just won the Intercontinental title. Why would you do that and then have this match and then think, oh, Penta's not going to, you wouldn't have given it to him probably to begin with if you were going to drop the title. So most people, everybody I talked to picked Penta, and I did obviously too. So every match was very predictable. It's just the execution was really well. So it could be okay to be predictable as long as you execute, and they did. Both the first two matches executed 100%.
They said in here that Rey Mysterio came out in a Deadpool inspired gear.
Yeah.
Do you think he was going to be on Deadpool's newest shows? Think he's going to be in a new Deadpool movie?
Ray Pool. What happened to your picture? Did you go to the bathroom?
Oh, it turned off. There we
yeah.
go. There I am. There we go. Sorry,
just
reading.
You for the whole time.
Just it. And okay, next one's up: United States Championship.
So 2 Bs, and then the U.S. title is the Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn, right? The
Don't know none of these guys.
So that's the one where Trick comes out with Lil Yachty, which is way too much of him involved for a guy who's not even wrestling. This is probably the only one I would give a C. Just the right match result happened. It just didn't really do anything for me. In fact, the guy that he probably should have wrestled, his former partner in NXT, Trick probably should have been wrestling Carmelo Hayes here, or at least Carmelo should have been in the match.
So one of the memorable moments, which I thought looked pretty stupid, was the jacket that he wore that stretched all the way down the ramp. That just seemed a little over the top.
Yeah, that probably falls in what you were saying earlier with a little too much. Yeah,
it just seems like so much
unnecessary.
It just seemed like there was so much focus on entrances, and we'll get to that, what you sent me, and focuses on the theatrical part of it, that it takes away from what the wrestling, it just, I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of getting a little too extreme.
Yeah, do you need to do that on every one?
It seemed like every entrance, like there's even a YouTube video of people our YouTube covering all of the entrances. It just seems kind of lame. It'd be like NFL saying, let's see all the NFL entrances. Let's see, that's what we're going to highlight. It's like, you want to see the event. I mean, it's cool that they have this huge buildup, but I don't know if it's a buildup anymore, if it's just more theatrical.
Well, they didn't do anything, at least with Gunther's. He's kind of like the wrestler's wrestler, so his was probably
that's what I mean. Right? It just it's taking the main event characters' entrances, which should be the big deals, right?
Yeah.
And it's making it every entrance. Every entrance has a big freaking.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But I mean, for everyone, this is their biggest match of the year. So yeah, I mean,
don't care.
Yeah,
you can't. Not everybody's a main eventer, right? Not everybody's a main eventer.
Not everybody gets an entrance, folks. We're giving out 4 this night. That's it.
Yeah, sorry.
And 2 of them.
Not everybody gets all of the screens and fireworks, and not everybody gets costumes.
On the flip side, yeah.
You just gotta be an opener, okay? You just gotta be the first one, and you gotta come out. And we don't need a big intro.
Yeah, on the flip side, they spent a shit ton of money, so I guess they're thinking we're gonna maximize every fucking entrance.
Who spent a shit ton of money?
TKO.
Again, though, but I know we can't show this stuff, or we'll get taken off of our YouTube video. But
can we show flashes of pictures to make it look?
We can show pictures. We just can't show any videos.
His long little fucking.
His gown and
coat just clipped to a long roll of the same material, basically.
It just was ridiculous. I thought someone was stepping on it when he turned to look back at it. I thought someone maybe stepped on it, or he was dragging someone behind.
Probably checking to see if his coat's still attached to it.
It would have been funny if he fell off the ramp and yanked him backwards, and he fell backwards. It was so heavy.
Can't even walk. He's just like,
all right, street fight with. Again, I'm so done with the Demon and Dominic Mysterio. I just think the Demon is the boogeyman, and Dominic Mysterio is just not who I
chicken
think
shit
they
heel.
should. Yeah, he's just not the guy that they tried to make him into. I don't care to watch them wrestle, even if I had to, because I don't know. It's just kind of boring to watch. But I just saw a video of Michael Cole and him. Did they have a beef or something? Is there a beef between Dominic Mysterio and Michael Cole? Because they showed Dominic Mysterio throw his mask at Michael Cole, and Michael Cole called him a jackass. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, it's maybe like the relationship Bailey had when she was a heel with Cole, but
I don't
they
know.
did some cool stuff. I mean, I'd still give this a B. They did some cool stuff, but like you said, I don't know if I want to watch Finn and Dominic wrestle again. You know, now basically it's essentially it's back to Finn because he's not the demon every time. So it's like he was the demon for this WrestleMania, and then the big thing was Dominic was saying, "I signed to face Finn Balor, not the demon, and now it's a street fight. I didn't sign for a street fight." So, but I don't think we're done with this. Probably starting tonight because we recorded. It's the day after, so they're probably gonna have more between them on Monday Night Raw. But yeah, they need to do a draft and kind of. I lost. Lost it. What'd you do?
Nothing. Hold on.
I don't know. I hear you. Nope, lost it again. What are you doing? Pause. We're back again.
We've learned that AirPods don't work for headphones without microphones. All right. So, okay, where are we back? The May Mysterio.
So I think the thing with Dominic and Finn is, I'm with you. I just don't know if this rivalry is going to end anytime soon since it's basically just started. But yeah, we'll see.
It says the demon should only come out in big must-win matches. There's no reason he should put on the paint. If he does, if he's losing decisively under Baylor, starting to consider retirement. So
very predictable. He's not going to bring back the demon person off to lose. So you essentially just predicted the outcome of this match at WrestleMania by bringing the demon back.
So it's just it's kind of it's lame. So
I mean, for hey, what's the suspense? You know the demon's not going to lose.
So what do you feel about? It said that one of the notable moments was Rey Mysterio's entrance.
Yeah, we talked about that, right, with the Deadpool.
I mean, not Rey Mysterio. Mysterio's delivered. Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic with all the luchadors, right? You're talking about?
Yeah.
All those guys coming out with the mask. Yeah. I don't know.
Didn't do anything.
That probably, boy. What was cool is he came out and the King of the Luchadors, they were carrying him on a throne. That was kind of neat, but like all the guys, they look real generic and white shirts of like somebody wrote fucking luchador on them before they came out, so it's like.
All right. The women's championship match with
so
Jade and Rhea.
2 B's and a C.
Yep. Okay. How would you feel about this match? I'm kind of thinking Rhea Ripley is also running her this is her moment. I think this year is going to be.
No. Yeah, 2 B's and 3 B's and a C.
You
so
gave
4, 5, 6. I gave this a C.
What'd you give this match? You didn't give the Rey Mysterio match a C.
No. The first 2 B's, the ladder match and MOBA. C to the Sami Zayn trick, and then probably B for this one.
Okay. So what about the women's championship match?
I thought Jade Cargill looked really good. That was probably her best match in WWE. And they got Io involved, which was Rhea's friend. It was a good finish. It was very polished and looked well executed for what it was.
Do you think this is Rhea Ripley's moment, though? Do you think this is going to be it? Do you think this is where she's going to reach the top of her career?
I think this just solidifies it. I mean, I think she's already there to what you're trying to say. I think she already is. I mean, the company clearly has her as the top female in the entire company. So I think this just solidified it. If there was any doubts, they would have still kept it on Jade. But I feel like Jade is still working up to a worker's level where they want her to be. But she did really well. I mean, if you're going to say, hey, is this closer to an A or B? The match was closer to an A for what it was supposed to be. And some people would say, oh, how could you say that? It's Jade Cargill's on a level. All you have to do is execute to expectations or exceed them. And what you expected on a piece of paper, like to me, I felt like they delivered what they were supposed to do. Rhea was going to win. She's to take fresh matchups. Jade looked good in everything she did. She didn't injure or botch anybody. Obviously, that's what they keep accusing her of. She looked good and she executed well. The outside interference was well planned. I would say it's between a B minus or B plus and A minus, and if it was closer to that, I'd say closer to A than B.
All right. We only got
Oh,
10 minutes, so let's
okay.
go to the spotlight with The Miz and John Cena.
And Danhausen.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah. I liked it. He's good for kids, and a lot of adults enjoy Danhausen too. I watched a lot of his videos during, the time before he became. It was a little goofy with the little people and stuff, but like it's wrestling. He called two of the little people names of his old YouTube friends that helped him with it, which was pretty funny. That was an inside joke that only the people that had followed him for a while would get. So yeah, it was kind of funny that he threw that in there. And yeah, he's a fun character. It's all about characters to me. And yeah, Danhausen is a character. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, if you're rating that segment, that delivered what it was supposed to be. I mean, that was fine for what it was.
And then the final one, the World Heavyweight Championship with CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Easily.
Feel like again we've beat this to death.
Yeah, possibly. Well, they had a little the last year because they were in a 3-way with Seth, so they saved a lot of their good material for this one. But yeah, I think it was time, and I just didn't like the finish. I mean, the story was he was either fatigued, Roman called him old, maybe he was exhausted, maybe from his defenses. And I'm sure there's a payoff to it later. Maybe they face off again, and this time Punk beats him while exhausted, or not as exhausted, I guess. That portion was maybe a little bit of a blemish to me, but there's no denying the match was incredible, and yeah, I have to give it an A.
He also was seen later smacking a phone out of a fan's hands, so maybe he was frustrated, maybe he was fatigued, maybe he was just
Was he? I didn't see that. I seen a picture of him hugging what they said was his mom and dad, which
no, it was afterwards in a hotel. They said
Bailey, wow.
TMZ posted it. Someone was trying to film Bailey, and he turned around and smacked the phone out of the fan's hands.
CM Punk?
Yep. Bubba was talking about it earlier. Bubba the Love Sponge was talking about how
Bubba the Love Sponge?
You never heard of this guy? He used to be Hulk Hogan's friend. He's the one that filmed Hulk Hogan and Bubba's wife having sex.
People are still listening to this guy?
Yeah. He used to be again, he was like a jelly roll. He used to be like a wrestler for Independent, and he was friends with Hulk Hogan.
I remember that one wrestler, Karma or Awesome Kong, I think she slapped him or something. She definitely wanted to kill him.
Bubba?
Yeah. Because he said some shit about her. And
yeah, so Bubba the Love Sponge was talking about this earlier today, where he's talking about how wrestlers are, I don't know what that means on my icon up here. That wrestlers that should, they should understand, and how Randy Orton's really good about fans bothering him and wanting to get pictures with them. And seems like CM Punk doesn't have that type of patience, is what they were talking about. And you can't go slapping crap out of fans' hands when you're in a hotel. I mean, that's kind of the gimmick that you're supposed to be, you're a star.
Yeah, there's some fans that cross the line. I mean, that's the thing I could see both sides of it. And I think if you get badgered 24/7 like some of them do, we're not going to understand that. We may have interacted on small wrestling, mini wrestling things, but nobody's getting bothered to the extent of a CM Punk or anything. But there's just got to be good decorum from the fans and be respectful. Some of them wait at airports, and these wrestlers hate it because they're shoving autographs, waiting for them at airports or hotels, expecting them to sign the autographs that they're going to sell on eBay. I mean, if you do 1 million of those, you're probably going to be pretty pissed off after a while. And that's really the headspace usually they're in when you get them. Just be respectful. If you see them, I think you would just be like, hey, thanks for whatever saying. I mean, if you really want to get something for a kid, and hopefully you have a kid with you, that's probably going to increase your chances. Like I think most wrestlers will stop for kids. If it's you and you're trying to trick them and say it's for a kid, most of them probably are not going to believe it, even if you were telling the truth. It's just have
don't be a
just
professional
don't
wrestler then, big babies.
or as a fan, don't be a dick.
Hey, you know what? Fans are dicks.
Yeah, they are.
They're giving you money, bro. They're paying for you to wrestle.
It's a good point too.
Someone's buying your shit. And that's that person with the phone. And you just got to give them 5 minutes of some kind of recognition. That's all you got to do. Don't be an athlete then. Don't be a professional in something, and you're going to be mad if they do something like that.
You're just going to get hounded now, Coach JC. You're like, I'll never get
what?
I'll never get angry at you.
After comedy shows, people want to talk, and they want to tell me what jokes they think I should use and how I should do stuff. It happens all the time.
And you've never been angry or
I just, you know what?
With anybody ever?
It's again, you got to put it in perspective. And I think sometimes people have to put themselves in a perspective of how big they are in the world of that people are paying to watch. And to go into the clip that you sent me, this attendance for this event was not as big as it was in the past 3 that you are 4 in here that you've sent me.
Well, the second night isn't included on there. So the second night, at least I don't think so.
Yes, it is.
It is included. So the second night.
So first night.
When they announced it, they did the combined total. So they didn't even announce the second day's attendance. They just did them both to make it seem 106,000 for both nights. So they combined it.
According to this clip that you sent me, the WrestleMania that was, so which one was this one? WrestleMania what?
42. So this was 42, yeah.
So it was what? 3 years ago, they were in Vegas before?
No, they were in Vegas last year.
So last year, they had 61,000 on night 1.
Okay. So
63,000 in night 2. This year,
so it's 20,000 less. Yeah, 20,000 less. Don't go back to the same city. Learn your lesson.
Well, and then before that,
no matter how much money they're paying you,
they were
fatigue.
In the 70s and the 80s. It's expensive. That's why.
It is. That too. Inflation is even more than it was last year. We know that.
Gas.
Yeah.
And there was also the Stanley Cup is playing that night. And Vegas is in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's a good point.
And you have all these events going on in Las Vegas.
It's also late. Like they keep pushing WrestleMania later. Used to be in March, for Pete's sake, at the end of March, and it became early April. I don't like it this late into April. It feels like the storylines are dragging to the point. Like go back to early April, at the worst, April 3rd or whatever Sunday is closest to April 3rd. I know sometimes Easter, whatever it is, do it either week before Easter or the week after. Don't go that much further out.
And to go back to your other comment, the time frames of the matches versus the entrances versus the advertisements. The matches were actually not too far off. This must be for both nights. 98 minutes. It's an hour's worth of entrances. That's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah.
An hour worth of entrances for all these wrestlers. And you said there's 7 matches per night?
There were 7 and then 6. So 7 night 1, 6 night 2.
There's 13 matches. And and they had an hour to get in to the entrance of the ring.
Well, they probably counted the Danhausen entrance where he comes out with. That's why I just want to call them midgets so bad,
dude. But
the little people.
You just did. So you did.
Well, in wrestling,
I want to call them midgets.
Yeah, but in wrestling vernacular, they are midgets because they're midget wrestling.
God, I want to call them midgets.
But yeah,
you just did 3 times.
Well, yeah, because I grew up, they call them midget wrestlers.
Okay,
but little people, micro wrestling. Okay, so he came with something with a micro.
That sounds worse. So half a person.
Not the one that came up with that term.
Half a person wrestling. So
a person. I'm half the man I used to be. Cause I'm a midget.
And then the last one is an hour worth of advertisement. I'm gonna end it with just that right there.
Short people, midgets canceling you. Fuck you, bastard. Just come to Gatlinburg. We'll kill both of you.
Fuck you, big man. All right, thanks for
We're
watching
gonna
Me
find-
Podcast.
We're
You
gonna
listen.
find him when he comes out, when his buddy comes into town. He stops the Hulk Hogan job.
It's gonna end. Me
Is
Podcast.
it?
You listen. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to blah 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 blah. No offense to anyone.